I'm just going to share my screen as well, so hopefully that will work. I'm Catherine. I am the Strategic Communications Director at IMIX, and I'm just going to share a little bit with you about today about how you can promote your event on social media. And just see if I can play it. Can everybody see the screen? You can see the chat, which you don't want.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Can you see the chat as well? You probably don't want to see that, or is that okay?
I don't think I can see the chat, but you might be able to. But no, feel free to go ahead.
You can't see it?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Great. Yeah, so I'm just going to talk very briefly about how you can promote your event using social media. I'm sure loads of you use social media really effectively anyway, and this is a real whistle-stop tool. But as Ali said, if you have any questions, do get in touch afterwards. So why would we use social media? Well, social media now is how people find out about events, either because somebody has, a friend has posted it, or because you've seen the event organizer post it, or maybe you've seen it on a local community group. So it enables you to directly reach your audiences, the audiences that you already have on your social media platforms. And it can also enable you to reach new audiences, maybe in your local area, or maybe even people who are interested in an area of your work, but might not know that much about Refugee Week. So maybe they're interested in music in your local area. So they might come to an event because it has live music, and then they might find out about Refugee Week as well, which would be brilliant. And it might even enable you to reach more mixed middle groups. Those are the groups of people who are maybe slightly unsure about welcoming refugees. They have some positive feelings and some negative feelings. So by putting your content and your events on social media, you might be able to reach into some of those groups, maybe particularly in local community groups on Facebook. But you need to use social media strategically. As we all know, it's fast, it's overwhelming, it can be used in lots of different ways. So you do really need to think through how you're going to use it. And the first thing that's really important to think about is, who is your audience? Who are you communicating to? And that's going to help you to think through which social media platform you should use, which messages you should use, what kind of event you might want to put on, all kinds of things like that. So for example, if you wanted to put on a really local event, maybe a sporting event, you might want to find out what local groups are there, what local social media groups are there that the sporting community are part of, and then try to get onto that platform. It could be a Facebook community group, it could be a WhatsApp group. Can you get into that WhatsApp group? Can you put your event on there? And what are your goals on social media? Is it to get people to attend the event? Is it that you want people to spread the word about the event and your cause? Do you want to encourage support for your work? It's always really, really good to have a call to action on your social media post. So it could be something like, join our event, tell your friends about our event, support our work, give us money, volunteer. There are so many different calls to actions that they could be, but it's good to put them at the end of your social media posts. So in terms of reaching new audiences on your social media platforms, make sure that all your friends, all your family, all the people you know are following your social media platforms, because they will be tapped into other networks that you aren't already. The Refugee Week network itself is huge, as you've seen today. It spreads all across the country into every corner. It's always so exciting to see all the different groups which take part in Refugee Week. So try to link up and connect with them, promote other Refugee Week events happening maybe in your area, or maybe that have a similar interest to yours, like I said, with like music or food or sport or something like that. And Facebook community groups are a really good way to spread the word about your event. They're very good for local organising, and they just really bring together people locally, often around an interest group. So your work could really fit in with that. And reach out to figures or influencers who could share your event. Do you have any local celebrities in your neighbourhood? Any soap TV stars living around the corner? Or maybe just your mayor or your local councillors. Get in touch with them, message them and ask them to promote your event or come along. You can DM them, you can email them, and hopefully they will support your work. So which kind of platforms should you use? Well, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram are still the biggest social media platforms, and they have different focuses and different audiences. Facebook is generally a bit of an older audience, very much based around communities and groups. It's really like a place for friends to meet. And there's lots of features that you can use, like setting up events or a fundraiser, things like that. Twitter is very political, it's very fast moving, it's very reactive, and there's lots of campaigns which play out on Twitter. Instagram is much more visual, much more photography and video based, and people connect over interest or hobbies or lifestyle choices. TikTok is also a video platform that some people use. Probably not as many charities are on there at the moment, but lots of sort of individual influencers are on there. And WhatsApp is also a really good way to connect with people locally. And here are some images which we've used at IMIX, and images are really important in social media posts. Social media posts with videos or images always do better and always reach more audiences. All of these photos we've chosen because they create a picture of a very positive community. And that's a really good message to be spreading over social media, particularly with all the nasty, hateful rhetoric that's happening at the moment. We want to say, actually, refugees are part of the community and we really love having them here, and we love like them being part of the community, and everybody's benefiting and gaining and learning and growing from this. So, and these kind of images here also very much encapsulate compassion, which is the theme of this year's Refugee Week. So we might want to think in our images are what kind of images, pictures, symbols encapsulate compassion, and how can we put those on our social media? Now, we know that not everybody wants to show their face on social media, and that's for very valid reasons, and it's really important to consider. We have a blog on our website, which is about how to take anonymous photos, how to have interesting photos, which is still anonymous. I think Ellie's going to put the link to that blog in the chat, so you can have a look at it. It's always really important with images to make sure you've got everybody's permission, and just to make sure that people are really happy to have their face shared, they know where it's going to be, and don't post images of people without their permission, particularly people with vulnerabilities or children, young people. We need to be really careful about that. Another really important feature of social media is using storytelling. Even if you're just using it to promote an event, a story can really draw somebody in. So maybe you might want to profile someone who's going to be at your event and maybe share a little bit of their story as a bit of a taster of what they might get at the event. We know that stories speak to hearts and minds much more than facts and figures. So really try and draw on the power of story during your events and in your social media posting. So in terms of how you plan from now until Refugee Week, well, you can set up your event now if you know what you're going to do, and you can put it on social media. You can get people to save the date. You can start promoting it and building up your network. So really getting it out and making sure as many people know about it as possible, reaching out to local influencers, people who might amplify it for you. And then when you put on your event, it's a really good idea to maybe live tweet it or go on Insta stories or TikTok or Facebook Live so that people can join virtually as well. It's useful to have somebody on the day who's dedicated to social media so that they can capture content and put it onto social media posts, either live or after the event. And you can encourage people there to share the posts, to tag, to like. And also just remember about permissions and stuff around photos and videos, just so that you know that everybody in the room is happy to have their photo taken or photo used. Or you might want to think of a more interesting way to take images or capture posts for the day. But there are certainly ways in which you can do it without showing lots of people's faces. But it's really good to build up a bit of a buzz around your event, both in the lead up, during it, and even a little bit afterwards as well. And there are loads of tools which you can use, such as Canva, which helps you to create lovely social media posts with nice graphics and images. There are free images you can use on there. You can also use things like Unsplash or Pexels, and you can use tools like TweetDeck or Hootsuite to schedule posts in advance. So Refugee Week's a really busy week. You don't necessarily want to be on social media the whole time during the week, but you can schedule things in advance on those platforms. And just finally, get involved with the main Refugee Week campaign. Use the hashtags Refugee Week and hashtag Compassion into Action and Simple Acts if you're going to do simple acts. On the Refugee Week website, there are templates which you can use and logos and graphics, and it's totally fine for you to download all of those and use those. And there'll be a social media pack also available on the website soon. Please do like, reshare, retweet content from the Refugee Week and from the network and from other partners. It's so good to build up a really good buzz ahead of the festival. It's always such an exciting time to see people all across the country standing up and promoting this amazing festival. So do get in touch if you have any more questions. I'll pop my email in the chat. Thank you so much. Thanks for letting us join in this brilliant day.